Hi everyone, welcome back to the course. Today we'll be discussing on ADF, Azure Data Factory, which is one of the ELT tool which we have in cloud. So first let's understand what is ELT here, and then we'll go for Data Factory and why we need Data Factory. So extract, transform, and load. This is the general ETL mechanism which we used to do during on-premise. Now, as part of the cloud, we came up with this approach which is called as ELT. Earlier to cloud, we have something called ETL. Now in the cloud, what we are doing, extract, load, and transform. So what does this extract mean? As a data engineer day-to-day job, he has to get data from multiple sources. Multiple sources. So the sources might be SQL Server or any other database or a file. It can be or a REST API. So he can get data from any place and he has to do the loading into cloud. So getting data from any place, we call it as extract. Now, once we get the data, we have to keep it in a location, which is ADLS Gen 2 or blob storage in the cloud, where you will keep your data. That is called as loading. Once the data is loaded in cloud, once the data is available in cloud, we have something called transformations, the next part. So as the data is available in the cloud, we will be using the transformation techniques to clean the data. Basically, transformations are nothing but functions which can be used, or you can also say methods used for data cleaning and organizing the data. So these techniques we will be using once we bring the data. Now, before cloud on-prem, we used to have different ETL tools like MSBA suite, which has SSIS. This is an ETL tool. SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services. You have Informatica to process the data as one of the ETL or ELT tool. So what has changed then? Why we need to have cloud ETL? Think in a scenario, these on-premise tools have to be installed on your laptop. This has to be installed. What is the capacity of your laptop? Your laptop might have some 8 GB RAM and some 500 terabytes of storage. Now, if I have to process the data, let's say my data is around, I have to run some 10 jobs parallelly. Jobs are nothing but your activities, 10 activities you have to run parallelly, and each activity has some 0.5 GB data it has to load. So 0.5 into 10, so 5 GB it has to take into memory. Your laptop is only having 8 GB. Out of that 5 GB, it has to go for storing the data in memory itself, holding the data in memory itself. Then what about other process? Other process also have to run. So we have this kind of memory issues because it cannot hold. And as the big data came into picture, the data is growing on. So we were not able to utilize this kind of machines. Either we have to increase this to 16 GB or 64 GB, whatever it is, if you keep on increasing, the data still grows and only one machine has to work for you. So instead of these things, what they came up with is cloud ELT tools. So in the cloud, the vendor's duty is to allocate the machine for you. They are going to allocate the machine. They are going to give you good amount of space, whatever you require, and they are going to process the data. And everything is in the cloud. You don't need to hold it in the memory. So the things change. That's why ELT was famous. And first you have to bring the data into cloud. Then on top of cloud, you transform the data. In cloud, you transform the data. It is nothing related to your disk now. Your local machine is not related. It is everything happening on the cloud. So this transformation has changed as because of the huge data, big data. In Microsoft Azure, we have ADF as one of the ELT tool, Synapse another ELT tool, and Databricks another ELT tool. And in November 2023, Microsoft has launched Fabric. This is also one of the ELT tool we have. Now we have 4 ELT tools in Microsoft Azure. Databricks is something which is a third party to Microsoft. It is not related to Microsoft, but as it is partnered with Databricks, we call it as Azure Databricks, and it's a third party. Okay, the main components of Azure are ADF, Synapse, and Fabric. So we will start with Fabric. Sorry, we'll start with ADF as part of our data journey, as a data engineering journey. Let's start with ADF. ADF was launched somewhere around 2014, and it was initially built for orchestration, and this was not a time for analytics. It was purely built for orchestrating the data from one place to another place. So they have inbuilt connectors. We have 90 plus connectors overall, and we have plenty of activities in ADF which can help us to do our data engineering process. Later, they have came up with Synapse in 2018, and in 2023 they came up with Fabric. So that is how things change. Whenever there is a evaluation of data and the increase of data and seeing the competitors and new features they have to add, so they are keep on upgrading themselves and they're releasing new features. ADF has two things: data pipelines and mapping data flows. Data pipelines are used for orchestration of data. Mapping data flows are used for cleaning of data and transformation of data. You can call it as mashup or transformation of data. Orchestration means bringing data from one place to another place. That's it. It can be on-premise, it can be cloud. It can be used for bringing data from one place to another place. And it has activities such as looping. It has activities such as delete. It has activities such as um, switch. It has activities such as fail. It has activity copy data is the famous one. So you have a lot of activities at this data pipelines. So these are the two major components for your pipeline building in the ADF. So in the next video, we will be seeing important components of ADF and what their use is, and we'll start with a demo. Thank you all. See you in the next video.